All right, well, welcome everybody to FlexCast. I hope everyone's having a great morning. This is a good way to always get your day started. See here, Corey, are you here today?
Absolutely. Why would I miss it?
Well, because it's Saturday morning. That's what most people have the excuse for. So I guess we're better than the rest. And I see that we have a few people here this morning, so that's good. And what I like to see at the very beginning is how diverse our whole group is getting now. We're breaking into Latin America. We're starting to get into some African countries. We are spreading across Russia, and Greece is here. We're just starting to spread, and I really love to see all of that happening. I love to see new names coming in to this group as well. So we're going to do a lot today, but today, first thing, always just go through the key points, make sure everyone's getting into the Flex Connection. This is where you can ask anything to people who are there. They're here because they love Ruby, they love Flex, and they are here to support all of us as a team. So you can come in and be open to asking them whatever you need to do. You can also reach out to Corey and myself and to our moderators by making a post or posting stuff up there and sharing what you're doing. So make sure you're getting all of the new brand influencers that are coming into the Flex Connection. And if you're not, you definitely need to be, because this is really just a great community to help you learn Ruby and learn the Flex business. Monday nights, we have our Flex update call. This is the corporate update call. We could do a little bit of recognition. We do have some promos that we roll out. We do all kinds of fun stuff that's here, but this is really about getting you up to date for what happened over the last week and where we're going for the next week, and maybe even where things are going into the future. So new things are released all the time. We're talking about things and partnerships that we're having. So these are all important calls that you can get on. And if you can't get on them, make sure you go and rewatch them. You can go right back to the URL that you're putting in. This would be update.theflexconnection.com. You can watch it the whole week, and so that you can get up to date. All right, so we've got an interesting thing for you to do today. So we're actually going to talk about managing Ruby and a Flexology this week. So Corey and I are going to bounce back and forth a little bit, to each other. But we're going to talk about all the things that are maybe missing from when someone first gets in. But they're important, like how to do certain things in there. And so we want to dive deeper into that. And what we also want to talk about is the creative toolbox, and letting you understand how everything is in one place, that it can be wrapped around and easily shared. And the tool is great, but what's really great is that you can make money sharing this incredible tool. And I think what gets lost in there sometimes is that we have such an amazing tool that we just work on that, and we forget that, a lot of the reason why people are coming here is so that they can make money sharing it. And so one of the things that we're going to talk about today is just how to go about doing that. So Corey, you can see my screen okay?
Yep.
All right. So we're just going to be bouncing back and forth a little bit here. But, the first thing is I want to talk about just the places where you find all of the system managing pieces. Now, this isn't the place where you're going to get all the sexy, cool things about how to go and make everything work. But we need to find out where you go and do things that manage the system. And the first thing is just realizing what everything is on the page. And I feel like the first thing that people get in and they are scared to touch it, they don't want to click on anything. You're not going to break anything when you start clicking on them. But you do have your words and credits. And your words and credits are here because we allow you to have the freedom to use whatever tools you want, whenever you want. We don't make you have a premium subscriptions to get access to our features. And it's a really big benefit to doing that. And when you run out, you don't have to go and upgrade your subscription. You can literally just hit the buy words and buy credits. And I'm glad to tell you that they finally have that fixed in the back office. It took them long enough, but it's fixed. And so as soon as you buy the words or credits, that will show up here. And when you click on the words and credits, what it's going to do is it's actually going to take you right into the store. So you'll go right to the store. You'll be able to buy your words and your credits down here. And when you add them to the cart and you pay for it, it's going to push you right back into your RUBI, and you'll see your words and credits here. Now, it may take up to a minute for that to show up. Sometimes it's quick, it's done in a batch. So it'll be there just within a minute or so, and you're set to go. Now, the light mode, dark mode, that's really just about a preference for the way you see it. I like it to see it in the dark mode. I've heard people tell me it's easier to see it though on our presentations in the light mode. And so I will leave it in the light mode today for you guys. Now we have our places up here at the top. Now, the very first drop down is we allow you to have multiple subscriptions into the same master account. So I have my master account here, but I have two subscriptions here. You can see that I have Robert_prod, and then I have Robert_prod2. So these are my subscriptions. Now, after that with the dash are my workspaces. And I can have up to 10 different workspaces depending on which application or what subscription you're in. But that's how it's delineated inside of this dropdown. It lets you know which subscription you're working in and which workspace. So I want to work in Prod 2, C2C Digital, and then I can see the projects that are going to be attached to this. So if I come up here and I flip it over to my other production, I can see now that I have different projects that are going in this subscription and into this workspace. So this is how this functions, and you'll be able to come back and forth between all of these whenever you want. Now, why would you want multiple subscriptions? Well, the really only reason that you would need multiple subscriptions is if you have a lot of people who are tying into it. Probably an agency that has more than 10 clients. They're going to probably have multiple subscriptions because we max out at 10 collaborators. And so that's one of the main reasons that you would have maybe multiple subscriptions sitting inside of there. And again, your projects, the projects help you organize all of your assets and keeps them organized for you so that when you're going from one place to another, all of your assets will be there, but you're not seeing things that you don't want. And that's why it's a great organization tool for you as you're starting to go and build stuff out. So these are the key things at the top. Now, there's a lot of things in the manage accounts, which is down under your profile. So if you click on profile, you'll see manage accounts is down here. Manage accounts allow us to do a lot of things as well. Number one, it lets you create a nickname for your subscription. Now, if you have multiple subscriptions, it's really important to do that, right? You don't want them both to be the same thing. So you can come in and give them a nickname, and I can change it if I want to. But you know, if I had them both the same, it would be really confusing up here. So you want to give them a nickname. Preferred language. Now, this is super important because over the next few months, you'll start seeing us roll out full versions of RUBI in different languages. So completely multilingual. So when you get in, you're going to be able to go in and change your preferred language. And when you log in, it will automatically be in that language. So if you're wanting it to be in Greek, you set your preferred language to Greek. And when you log in, the entire application will function in Greek. And so that's why this preferred language is there. Now, when you also have multiple subscriptions, you'll have one that says make a primary account. You can only have one primary account. So if I go down over here to this one, you can see that it's already a primary account. So I'm going to leave it that way for now, but you can choose between which one is primary. And what does that mean? That means that when I log in, that's the one that's going to be loaded up first. That's my primary one to use. So that takes care of the general info. And you can obviously put in a new photo or whatever you want up here for your avatar. Now, let's go to usage for a second, because this is really, really important. And I'm going to flip this over here because I can get it to one that I've been using it in. This is a great way for us to see how much you've been using, where you've been using it, all that good stuff. And you can flip it down by months. So if I'm looking maybe in July, what did I have my usage in July? You can see I used it a lot. And so I can come through here though, and I can see a lot of information about how I'm using this product. If I hover over these charts, it'll tell me, okay, these are image generations. This is personas. I made 4 of those. Voice generations, vocal music generations, 10, spy audits. I've got instrumental music generation, voice labs, video generation. So you can go through and look at all the things that you're doing and all the credits that were used. Now you can also break it down by workspaces if you choose. So if I wanted to look at just the fixed workspace, well, I guess I didn't really do anything with it. So in July, that probably would have been in August, right? Yeah, so in August, you can see when we were doing the fix, these are my usages that I had. I didn't use any credits. I was using it all based over here in my words. And you can see what I used by using modules. So this is how many words I used with modules inside of IntelliChat. My total IntelliChat use is 5,896. That's by using all the different models. And then I also have my total that I've used, period. Now, if I get this back to my all workspaces, one thing you'll see over here is all these different colors over here as well. And you can see I used a lot. 309,000 words is what I used in August so far. And you can see they're spiking, where I'm using it heavy. My module use was 9,400. You see I've used 106 credits. Again, hover over all of these and see what it is I'm creating. IntelliChat 300,000. But what's really great is you can start to see how much you're using of each of the different models. So I've got GPT-4 Omni. I've got Anthropic, which you see I use it a lot. You're seeing that I'm using Gemini Pro a lot. And then you can kind of see command is in here where I'm doing my rank. So lots of different things that you can kind of see where and how you're going about using it. That's all great for you just to get intel of how you're using the application. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, though, this is where you see every transaction that happens inside of your subscription. It's just a ledger and a journal that tells you every time that you use something. And you can look at it through all usage. You can look at it through just credits. And this will show you all the different credits that you've used. You can actually just click on these and bring them up from the earliest to the latest. And then you also will see that they'll show up in green. Those are the ones that you've purchased. Okay, so those come with your subscriptions. That will come with anytime that you're adding words or credits, they'll show up in here as well. And you'll be able to see everything. If you want to look at just your words. So we initially started with 500,000 words. And now I can go through and see every time I use something. So this was with chat. This was with the module response. And every one of them is available for you to go back in and look at it. So if you ever want to know where your words and credits are going and how you're using them, you can definitely find that by coming in to the usage underneath your manage accounts. Corey, I'm not looking at the chat. Is there any questions that are happening in there so far? So far, so good?
So far, so good. I think a lot of people have stumbled into this feature, but they're picking up some nice little pieces that they did not know about.
Yeah, and I think it's important. You can also export this out. So like if you're trying to track it later or whatever, or if you're having collaborators come in or you're using it for clients and you're kind of wanting them to kind of see what's been done, you can actually export these out as well and get your hands on them. So it's a great way to look at stuff. Your workspaces, this is another way of segregating your content, but also a way of segregating the people who work there. So collaborators, which we'll talk about here in just a second, they are attached to workspaces that you're granting them access to work in. And so when you're thinking through the process of like how you're structuring your subscription, you have the subscription, you have your workspaces, you have your projects, and you can start to make sure all of your content is segregated that way. So you might have a client that is doing a workspace, and then they have projects inside of that client. So that's kind of the way that it's designed, so that you can tier it the way you use it and organize your world however you're putting Ruby into your world. The workspaces have a limit. So it's if you're on basic, you only have one. That's the one you're working at. Pro, you have 3, Premium, you have 5, and at Premium Plus, you'll have 10. And so those are the different workspaces that you can have, and you can kind of separate through. Now, to add the workspace, it's super easy. Like, it's not difficult. You do see that there's a new upload image. This is, again, just another way to help us identify something quicker. In future versions, we will see that Workspaces will actually have a way for you to quickly look at an image and help you understand what's there. So maybe a logo for a client, something like that, that just makes it a little easier to identify. So we have added that here. Of course, you're just going to do a name and a short description. That's it to create a new workspace. And so nothing difficult in that aspect of it. Now, all of our little views that we have here, if you see this little 3 dots, these are your actions, and this is what lets you do the different things to whatever it is that you're looking at. So in a workspace, you can deactivate it. You can always go back and edit it, and of course, you can delete it. So the difference between deactivate and delete. Well, you may want this workspace to be there later. And you might want to reference it, with other stuff later. And so you just want to deactivate it. When you deactivate that, that's not going to count against your other workspaces. Okay, so if I have my limit, I say I had 3 was my limit, and I go and add another one, and then I want to add another one, I'm going to have to either delete one or deactivate one so I can add another. So you're never going to have more than 3 active ones at the same time. Now you can go and play the game of, okay, well, I'll just deactivate this one and I'll go and make this one and I'll do this one. If you want to put up with the headache of doing that, knock yourself out. That's on you. For me, it's just easier to go in and get the next version that gives me a little bit more. But I don't really care that we designed it this way, because I understand when you're working, especially as like an agency or with someone that's, maybe it's an entrepreneur and you have a lot of different products that you're trying to break down, or you're doing different campaigns, and you've created a campaign you might run again seasonally. Like, I might have a campaign that I do just for the Christmas season. I might make a workspace for that so I can create my projects around that, but I don't use it that much. So as soon as the Christmas is over, I might deactivate that workspace and open up another workspace to do something maybe for spring. And so this is the reason why I created it this way, so that you guys have flexibility. And you just kind of understand that if someone wants to abuse it, abuse it. I really don't care. I think it's just more abuse on you than it is on me. Okay, so that's Workspaces. Very easy to do. Let's talk about Collaborators. Now, Corey, we had a really big upgrade when it comes to Collaborators on this last deployment that we pushed out. And it really makes it a viable play when you're letting other people come into your subscription. And I think that there were some things in the early first version that, yeah, you could bring them in, you could limit them to a workspace, but you were stuck. That was as much as you could do. If you brought a collaborator in and they used all your words and credits, well, that was just on you. And so we were looking at all of that. And so when we brought in the ability to add a new collaborator, you see that there's a whole lot more here. And because we give you feature control, and we also give you the workspace control. And then if you really want to get down to it, you can actually give them a maximum words and a maximum credit limit. So if you're saying, hey, I want you to come in and you can use IntelliChat and the modules and personify. Those are the things I want you to be able to use. And so I'm going to give you a max words of 10,000 words, and I'm only going to let you have 20 credits. You shouldn't need more than that. So I can go ahead and put those in there. And if this is checked, that's what they're going to have. Once those are exhausted, they're going to have to ask you to come back and edit and give them more. Okay, so this is a way that you can control your collaborators inside of your subscription. Now, I said I wanted to give them just IntelliChat modules and personify. Again, we have these 3 little buttons over here, and they're in action. And so you'll see 4 different options for them that they can do here. So they can read only. This means that they can view it. They can't do anything else. They can only see it. They can't change it. Okay, they can't delete something. They can't edit something. They can only view it. And if you want them to be able to only view something, then you just do read only. If you want to give them the ability to edit something, to read it and to write something, to create something, then you'll be able to give them read and write. Now, what read and write doesn't do is give them the ability to delete things, right? And so they can't move things around. They can't change from project to project. They can only read and write. They can create and they can view. If you want them to have full access to do anything and everything, then you just give them full access. And if you don't want them there at all, you'll put blocked. And they won't even be able to get into that section of your subscription. So if you have somebody that's great, I want them to have full access on these, I can come through and set it to where, okay, they're there, but I don't want to give them access to this other stuff. I'm just going to put these to blocked, and this will protect me from really having anything that I don't want them to see. And maybe on prompts, I actually want them to have the ability to read and to read only the prompt. And I can use that, right? Because it's not changing. So I can read a prompt and I can use the prompt, but I'm not going to be able to change the prompt. And so I might give them that one. This is why this is so important for us to do, because for agencies and people that you're inviting in, you want to have control of where you're giving them access. And we have done that here. And then you'll just send the invite and they will accept the invite. It's an email that is being sent to them, and they will click the invite. It has a link. They'll take them right to their page to fill out the information that they need, and they will then log in, and they will actually be seeing whatever words and credits that you have allowed them to see up here, and whatever workspaces you've allowed them to see will also show up for them. And they can play in that, they can play in the projects and do whatever that you've allowed them to do from that point forward. So that's the collaborators. And I think this is a great way for people to understand how things work. It's a really good feature when you are doing agencies or multiple businesses or just collaborations, where you can have somebody. I'll give you a good example. Like for us, is if I have a developer that I can have come in and we're using IntelliChat to code some stuff, we can do that together. I can see it, we can see it, we can discuss it, and we have that ability to really view everything the way that we want to, and we can agree and move it on down the road, right? So collaborations are just a really good way of doing that. All right, let's talk about connections, because connections are not there for you right now. First of all, this won't have anything to do with your one-click posting. Your one-click posting is going to be set up on all of the different places where you'll post. I think that's coming here pretty soon. We got delayed in some other stuff that we were pushing out there, like the image enhancements. That's coming first. But to get the social media post, you're going to see that wherever you can post something. See it on Canvas, you're going to see it in IntelliChats and all that stuff. What this will be used for really is Clozr. This is when you're going to have automated stuff. So workflow automation, auto DMing, that's going to be put up in here when that comes out. So this is where you'll do your connections. And then, of course, Clozr settings. If you're not sure what Clozr is, we are projected to roll this out by the end of October. And what Clozr is going to do is it's an auto DMing, auto lead generation that connects to everything inside of RUBI. So if you're looking at Clozr, this is kind of how it would be a good example for it to work. Let's say that I go into Personify and I create a persona and a target audience that is a health conscious person who is maybe a big believer on greens products. That's what I'm selling, right? So I'm getting a target audience that's going to be right into that niche. I'm going to attach that to one of my connections. So I'm going to connect it maybe to Facebook. And when I do that, I'm going to fill in a couple of things. One, when I click on Facebook, I'm going to connect a persona. So I'm going to connect that persona. And then I'm going to enroll into the auto DM. That is all that you will end up having to do. So what happens? Well, we take that audience that you've just created with personify and attach, and we go find influencers that match your exact target audience. And when we find those, we start to go down and we scrape out the comments of people that are on that channel, and we're looking for things that match to your persona. Are they health conscious? Great. Maybe they go directly off a greens product. So I'll use the greens product just because I think I know one. And so let's just say that you have a competitive product to AG1. And so you want to go and compete with Athletic Greens. We go in, we scrape Athletic Greens. We're going to bring all their comments in. We're not talking about their posts. We don't really care about what they are doing. What we care about are getting the names of the people who are committed enough to them and inspired enough to make a comment. Now, from that point, we're going to separate those into two different sentiments. We're going to put it into a negative sentiment, and we're going to put them into a positive sentiment. I love Athletic Greens. This is a great product. This product's changed my life. That's a positive. A negative might be, I would love to take your product, but I can't stand the taste. Wish you could come up with flavors. Something like that. We got a negative and we got a positive. What the auto DMing does with Clozr, not only does it grab those leads, because now we have the DM capability to go and talk to these people. We know who they are and we can message them. We also know what they like and what they didn't like. And RUBI, therefore, then can write a custom message directly to those leads. Something like this. I love the way that green products make me feel. We all know it's important. I didn't like the flavor either, but I found something that was great you might be interested in, and a link to your landing page. That would be automatically done from RUBI, knowing exactly who your target market is, writing exactly a counter to their response, and dropping a DM directly from your account to their account. Now, it's limited to how many of those that you can do per hour. So you can only do 3 per hour. But you can do that with all the different connections. So if you can think about it, even if it was only 3 per hour on one network, on one platform, you're still being able to go out and get 72 lead drops and introductions to a product, and you didn't do anything. Now, what do? Well, you're going to be able to lead them to like a lead capture page, or they might actually DM you back. And so you'll be able to look through the DMs and DM them back. These are amazing ways for you to start getting your businesses going no matter what it is. But let's just take it and look at it for your RUBI business for a second. What will this do for your RUBI business? If you could put 100 people in your organization, now you have 300 per hour that are promoting your business. Put 1,000 people in. You now have 3,000 going out every single hour to promote your business. It's about creating an army of legitimate social media accounts that have legitimate products, that have a legitimate reason to be reaching out. These are the things that will be coming with Clozr, and it will help grow every business that you know every business that you participate in and every business in the future. This is the big vision of the end of October and how it will change the game one more level up. Super excited about it. This is one of our patent pending applications that have already been filed inside of RUBI. All right, so now that I'm done with that, let's see. Corey, anything in here that I need to be addressing?
I'll just say this, some of the people in the chat are a little confused on Clozr. Once Clozr launches, we'll do full trainings on that. So don't worry if you missed any of the Clozr stuff, because that's once it's launched, we'll definitely do a full training on that.
Yeah, I think the main thing is to understand this. Clozr is a way that you can attach a persona from Personify. It's going to go find you leads, and it's going to customize a message to that lead for whatever it is that you're trying to inform them of. It may be about selfless. Like, I can't wait to use it for selfless. Or I can go and bring an army of people to my movement. I'm not selling them anything. I'm bringing them to my movement, and I can find out who those people are automatically and not having to have me touch and do anything. It's just working in the background to help move and bring people to the table. Okay. All right. And like Corey said, we're going to give a lot more in this. This will be one of those products, by the way, that will be an additional fee, because I mean, it's a lot of power to go by and run it. It will be an additional fee into this as a plugin. But as a business model, that's incredible, because I can just tell you there's not one single business that you will ever run into that will not do this. So if they can pay $29.95, I'm just throwing a number out. We haven't decided, but that's probably the range. $29.95 a month for Clozr to go out and auto DM and auto prospect and auto deliver messages and bring them right to their store. That's the cheapest thing they could ever do in their life to go and build business. Now, of course, it doesn't work unless you have RUBI, right? So they'll have to have a subscription to RUBI, and then they'll have a subscription to this. This is what builds your business with more volume. And so it's an incredible tool that you will be able to go out and handle. So super excited about that. But yeah, Corey's right. If you're confused, don't be too confused. Just know that it's a tool to help generate leads and to close those leads automatically. All right, so that takes care of a lot of the housekeeping stuff of just what's in like our managing of the accounts, understanding where everything else goes on inside of there. Quickly, we'll just run through some of the other facets of this thing so you can kind of get a high level on it. Obviously, IntelliChat is where we bring in all the world's best, conversational chat models. You get to choose your default. So if you want, like Claude 3.5 is my default, it actually says default right here. I can make anything else a default. So if I wanted to go to for Omni, I'm just going to click make my default, and I'm going to click on that one, and that's now going to change my default. So you get to see the little updates that let you know that it's been saved. And now if I leave and come back into IntelliChat, this is actually going to load with that actually in as my default. Okay. And so that's how that is going to work. Your modules. This is where you have all of your collections. So if you're just new to RUBI, collections are like categories. And so you have your categories of different types of pre-built modules. If I go into, say, social media, these will be all the things that deal with social media. Maybe it's my multi-day social media scheduler. Maybe it's I just want to make a Facebook headline. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, you can do with just finding these modules in here. If you're wanting to do marketing, well, you can definitely go in and get your 3-month marketing, your business strategies, your competitor analysis. All of these are just pre-built. And what I really like that's new here, that I really think if you guys will put the value in this, one of the things that we all wanted to do is to make sure that you guys understood and learned AI. And all the other applications that do like these pre-built things, they do it all back behind the scenes. And we did that at first. We put all the prompt stuff back behind the scenes and made that was our value. We believe the value now is education. And we take all the professional prompts and we put them all in the front. So I'm just going to do something here real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Because what we do is we simplify it, right? Like I'm only asking you to do these little tiny things here. So let's do it real quick. Years in business. So 1 to 3, we're in the central time zone. And do I want an explanation of my business or marketing? I'm going to say no, because I just don't want to waste too much time, and I hit generate. Now you realize that's all I have to do. And by the way, before I close this, I also want to say, if you really like something, you can make this a favorite and it will kind of be up on the top, okay, when you start to go and search. So that's how you favorite these. You'll also see these little bubbles right here. That means that you filled out everything along the way. So once you fill those out, you've got all the bubbles done. Now you just hit generate. This is what I really, really like about what we've done in version 2. Again, if it's about education, then let's give you guys everything so you can educate yourself. And not only that, that you can fine tune and tweak them to make it whatever you need it to be. And I'll show it to you here. I chose a long one. I actually can stop it. I'm going to stop it. We'll go up here. The whole prompt is right here for you. So though we only filled out these 4 little tiny things, this is what you really would need to know and to write to get the answer that we're getting. And this is available for you to go read it. And if you want to tweak something in it or you want to make it a little bit better, well, then you just copy it down here and you edit it. And you can do whatever you want and rerun it off of any other of the different LLMs or whatever you want to do. So the technicalities of this is for you to learn it. And what you'll do if you read these enough is you're going to start to pick up little things like, okay, if it's a really, really long response, we're still bound into what kind of responses we can have with a number of tokens. All conversational chats, though they're getting bigger, they all have limits. And if you have something that's really big, well, you can do it by putting in the word continue. And so you could take this and you can use this in any of your other prompts that you're starting to build. You can do that. And so we leave these here so you can come in and you can understand it. And that's with every single prompt we have, you're going to be able to learn from the prompts that are there. So I don't know if a lot of people realize that at the very beginning, because, if you've been here a while, we didn't allow that at the beginning. And in version 2, I just made that decision to say, you know what, we want you to learn and we're going to give you all the prompts. We want you to get the best. And then the other part that IntelliChat does that most of these other pre-builts don't do is they don't run it into a conversational chat. So again, I don't have to, because it's in a conversational chat, not in a completion model, which means you get what you get. And if you don't like it, you rerun the whole thing over again. And if you don't like it, you rerun the whole thing over again. Well, I don't have to do that for 2 reasons. One, I'm in a conversational chat. I can just start going. I'm going to change it to Claude, and Claude had nothing to do with this information up here, right? But I can come in and say, rework week 1 of month 1.
This is my favorite part.
To be more authoritative. I should find a word I could spell, right? There we go. Authoritative. So yeah. I still don't think that's it. Is that authoritative? I think it's still wrong. I got it now. Okay, so now I want to do this. Now I'm in a completely different version of that. And now I can just go ask it to rework it. You understand that it doesn't have to change or relearn anything. So it immediately comes in the original content of week 1, month 1, information. Okay, wait. So why did we not figure this out? Well, that's interesting. Corey.
I didn't do it.
That's an interesting little taste here. Very interesting because it's inside the chat model. It should do that. Let's see if there's a.
Which one was that?
That was Sonnet 3.5.
Maybe it's because you misspelled it.
I think I got it right finally. Yeah, it didn't. It's not picking it up. So let me go back and redo this. Here's another good thing about this is that should keep everything that we already have in there. So go ahead and rerun it. Oh, you know why? I can tell you why. Because I stopped generating it. And so therefore it's not going to complete.
That's right.
All right. So we'll let it finish. If you're not letting it finish, it's not going to be teaching everything else out into the realm of things. So we all learned something today. I should have found something that was much shorter instead of probably the longest one we have to do. Okay.
Well, doing a module like this might be good to use one of the unlimited chats.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just about what you're looking for to do, right? So continue. If I want this thing to continue, I've got my first month sitting here. If I want my 3-month, I'm just going to hit continue and it's going to get on continuing. So now I'm curious to make sure that I am right. Rework week 1. And since it's only put in the first month, I won't have to go back in and do that. And obviously now you can see how it works. So amazing. So this will be really important to understand that when you bring something into the chat with the modules, you don't have to rework it again and rerun it again and rerun it again to get what you want. You can have it just fine tune anything in there. It already knows that. And again, you can switch between any of the models and have it do it again. So maybe I didn't really like the way this one was on the performance tracking. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper with performance tracking. It's easy. Go deeper on the performance tracking. See, it's public typing. It's always the problem. Okay, so now I'm going to be on GPT-4. By the way, guys, if you're just now here, you see this little icon. That icon was telling you which model that you ran this on. So I was on Gemini, on Sonnet, and now we'll run this one on GPT-4. And now I can just go in and pick out exactly what I want. So that's the first thing. And I said there were 2 reasons why IntelliChat had this great technical ability of doing things different. Is that's one way. But when I'm building out all this stuff, I don't want to have to be taking it outside my application. That's why the editor is here. And so I can keep taking bits and pieces and pushing it all together and assembling it all as I'm sitting here just moving this thing down and around, right? And that is a huge thing. So if I want to do my performance tracking, I really don't need this anymore. I'm going to delete that and I'm going to actually paste in the new stuff. And if you like all this nice formatting, just highlight it all and it will do the markdown formatting. Now, one of the things that I've seen come through a lot too is that when you're doing certain things, especially in like Sonnet 3.5, you might see things showing up in these little black boxes. I'll give you a good example. Usually I get this when I ask to do translate. So okay, to Greek. You'll see that it drops this into, oh, it didn't even do it that time. Usually it does it. Usually it gives me a markdown. I will do that. I can do it like this. Write the code for HTML website. See this box in here? This is called markdown and it's putting it inside of that. If you see this happening and you're doing stuff and you don't want that, you just add no markdown at the end of your prompt. So if I come down here at the end of it and say no markdown, then it's not going to give me the markdown to do that. It's just going to start to drop it in normal type. So you can do that in however you want to go about doing it. It did it anyway for the for the navigation. I don't know why, but it didn't do it up here. So formatting, that's what happens. That does not come from Ruby, by the way. That comes from the models that are out there, and that's what is dictating, how it decides how to lay all that out. Okay, so that is really all the technical stuff. I know that there's a lot that we can go into with anchoring. Anchoring, you just add your URL, or you add a PDF file or a text file here, and you can link into that. You do need to be on an anchor enabled. So I'll do this last thing really quick, but if you look at the models, you'll see the ones that are free. All of the usage is looking at words, by the way. This is not about credits. This is about words. And you can see that each one has its own cost factor. So Omni Mini, free. If you look at Omni Direct for Turbo, this is going to be 1 times words, meaning it's going to take whatever many words it is, it's going to take that from your word bank. The same thing down here. And the one that I would just tell you is the one to watch for is Opus, because it's 3 times the words. If you're doing something super complex, very difficult scientific coding questions, this would be a great one to use, but it's not going to be something that you would need to use to do the basic everyday stuff. I would use Sonnet all day long. And we give you lots of credits or lots of words so that you can do the things that you want to do. But I also will tell you that GPT-4 Omni and Haiku are just like free, and they're fast, and they get you a lot of the information that you need. That's plenty good, plenty good. I still prefer to use Sonnet 3.5, but that's just me. And you guys have your own preferences. Now, the last thing I'll show you here is if you hover over these little icons that are out there, you'll see that some of them will say vision enabled. What does that mean? Well, it lets you click on this little button off to the side, and you can actually go in and upload, or you even use a video that you've already, or an image that you've already created. You can go in and you can drop them into whatever you're going to do. And this happens on all the different ones. I do like it. It's pretty amazing. If you haven't used Vision for a while, I'm going to use it on Gemini real quick, and I'll do this. Proceed with Vision. So now you can see my little pictures I've updated there. I wanted to define the image and tell me where I can go to enjoy this view. So the fact that you can really come up with some incredible, the Alps, the Rockies, the Himalayas, that's what it's looking at for our image. And you can see it's great description. This is amazing on food. This is amazing on financials. Upload your P&L and balance sheets. It reads this information for you. Now, if you have it in a PDF form, that's where I would leave the Vision, and I would go to the anchoring enabled. And you can see that some of them are double, like 3 is both Vision and anchoring enabled. So is Sonnet. And so you can come in here and see which ones you can be anchored to, and Command through Cohere is just anchoring enabled. But you can play with all this, guys. It's a lot of fun to go in and do. You don't have to worry about, breaking anything. It's like, just go play with it. If you're wanting to just, play with it and not cost anything, just choose a free one of these, and you can do as much as you want and really learn this system. All of the prompts that you're saving, you can find them here. What you do when you click on this is great. So if you watch up here, Command, and you'll watch down in the text box, when I click on one, it automatically knows what my preferred model is for that prompt, and it also reloads it down here. So all I have to do is just hit go. Okay, so super simple to keep your stuff going over here. These are favorited prompts. These are your saved prompts. Those are found in your prompt menu. Okay, so if you go over to prompts, you can see that they're here. Creating a prompt, super easy. Same thing, put in the name of it, your preferred chat model that you would want to run on it. Select a project that you want to attach it to. And if you don't want to attach it to a project, just leave it in default. It'll go to there, and you can see it anytime you want. And then just make your prompt. And then you can add it to favorites this way. So super easy. Corey, the only other thing I really want to get into the virtual studio, just the toolbox for just a few minutes. And I want to walk you through a couple of things that people sometimes miss. And so let's go to the image lab to find some of these. So as you see, we have all the different image models up here. And you can go in and find all the different models to use and all this good stuff. You just click on them and they do different stuff. So playing around with those are good. But when you hover over anything that requires a credit, you're going to see the tokens on the generate button. Okay, so you see the generate button and it has tokens. That means it's going to take a credit. If you hover over the tokens, it will tell you how many credits it's going to take on that specific, button click whenever you generate your generation. Okay, so this one's going to take 1. When you get to mid-journey, it costs a lot more. It's 4 credits on relaxed, 8 on turbo. Now I'm just going to be pretty honest here. It's like I never use turbo. It's really not that much faster. You get the same thing with relaxed, and the fact that you don't have to sit and wait. It's 15 to 20 seconds. It's not that big a deal. So just use relax. We're actually considering taking turbo out, but there are some people who just really love it, and so we might leave it. We'll see. But that's how you tell if there's something that's going to require a credit for you. In the vocalization, it's a little bit different. It's not just a credit every time you hit the generate button. And if you hover over it, it's a quarter of a credit. It's 0.25 of a credit for every 250 characters. So if I'm going in and typing stuff, get something a little larger. Oh, I copied away too much. Okay, we can grab all this. And so now I've got quite a bit. You can see that it's telling me how many credits I'm going to need down here. It's calculating it all for you as you're putting your stuff in. And it also is counting your characters over here. You're maxed at 5,000 per generation. So it doesn't matter what voice you're using. It doesn't matter anything like that. It's just a quarter of a credit for everything that you do through 250 words, and it will total that up right here. Corey, one of the things that some people may not know either is that when they see this little wand, this is our RUBI Assistant. And it's like taking IntelliChat everywhere you want to go inside of RUBI. So I'm going to say hello here, send it. And I'm going to have it right here. I can have my full conversation. And one of the things that's really neat about this is, let me delete all this out of here. If I wanted to insert this into my text box, if I just click insert and then I just click in the box, it's going to paste it for me. I don't have to do my copy paste shorthand to do that, shortcuts. And I can also do it in the middle. So if I wanted to place it there, I could insert it and just click it, and it'll insert it anywhere I want inside of my text box. So that's kind of the way the RUBI Assistant works. This is really a powerful tool. You can do it in the voice lab to help write you whatever you're going to do for that. It's in the image lab to help you guys do, prompts. And we are adding it into RUBI Music, so for the vocals. So you can actually do it there for writing all of your lyrics. And so we'll be adding that right here as well. And you can use RUBI Assistant to help create your lyrics without having to jump back and forth between the two. The video lab, you all can see that it is running 3 credits for each one. And by the way, I don't know how much you guys have used this, but you could come up with some really incredible stuff. Like this is a still image that I just told it to pan around the person. And you say it's like 5 seconds. That's great, but I can slow it down. I can come in at half speed. And you can shorten these up and you can get some really good stuff for videos as you're going through. And in reality, if you're really editing, between 5 and 8 is about the time that you are going to be moving images anyway, if you're really doing an image that you're going to be kind of layering on. So that is going to be really helpful. If you have certain images that you really like, you just load them up and then tell it the camera what to do. You don't have to tell it to create anything. Just tell the camera what to do to the person or the thing in the picture. And you can get some really incredible stuff out there. I like this really slow, just slow moving stuff that you can push in there and see the head move. guys, there's some really cool stuff that you can do in video. Just kind of getting in there and playing with it. So RUBI Music, same thing. And hit create. You're going to see their generate button. It's 1 credit when you create here. In vocals and instrumentals, it's a half a credit to create a preview. And then when you render it, you'll choose between how you want those renders to be. So once you save it, they go into your library. And then if you want to go get it, you'll be brought up into your place where you can choose. It's 1 credit for an MP3, it's 1 credit for a wave, it's 5 credit for the stems. And if you just click on them, it will tell you exactly how many credits you're going to need to get that taken care of for you. All right, Corey, I think we've gone through the entire thing. Projects, they have 3 little buttons here that you can do. One of the things that you're going to see this week, it just finished yesterday, is the asset manager coming back. It will come back up underneath of the projects manager. That will also be tied to all of this. And this was going to give you all the freedom that you've been looking for out of the asset manager. This will allow you to upload your own images and videos to your projects. This is going to allow you to link one asset to another project so it can be seen in both projects. It's also going to allow you to move one asset to another project. So it's removing it from one and moving it to another. It's also allowing you to delete them completely. It also lets you do multiples and in batches. So you could do a bunch of files at one time and move them all or delete them all or whatever. So all of that happening. Corey, was there something else that I was going to do? I can't remember. I think there was one more feature. Maybe not.
I don't know. I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that there was one more thing that we could do inside the asset manager. But anyway, guys, this is going to be a lot of information, but I want you to be able to go back and look at it because this is really, truly a major play for everything that's going on. Obviously, getting into Canvas Plus, you have a way to choose an existing project or to create a new one. When you get there, you have a choice between a design editor and an audio video editor. So if you wanted to do a design or a still image, you're going to jump into the design editor. When you're in the design editor, you're in the whatever project you're in, right? So I'm in Selfless's project because I chose that one. This will generate. This gives you all the capabilities. Now, when you're in design, you'll see the audio, video, and music doesn't work because they're not static, right? There's not for a static image. That's why you have Images Spy and IntelliChat. And of course, you have your asset manager that you can get to as well. If you save something, you're going to see a scene. Just to kind of technically walk through this, I guess. So you have your workspace and you have a project. And so I've chosen the project and I want this scene to be inside of that project. And that's what you're saving when you go up here and you hit save. That's what you're going to be actually doing. And today you're actually seeing a little bit of a new thing here too, is that you can name the scene that you're wanting to save. So instead of trying to remember it as it was just, a couple days ago with this long scene, you can name that now and you can know which one it is. And to load that back in, you just hit insert and it will load that back into the editor. And this will be whatever it is that you had out there. So that was actually a video editor, a video project that we opened up. So that is one thing that we're working on, is that when you bring in this, when you go to your asset manager, it does tell you which one it is. It's a type. And so we will have that added in there too this week, so that you'll have that to know if you're bringing it into the design editor or the video editor. So you'll get to know some of that. For the video editor, you just have all the capabilities here. You never have to leave. Anything that you drew in your drawer, you can immediately. Hello. I like it. I want to drop it in. I can go right into my my audio file, and you can see that it's there. Hello. And I can just drop it right into my videos that I want to do. A couple things that you'll see on the side. This is our main menu over here. Look for some new things coming over here. Obviously, templates are being built out. And then we also have Unsplash. That's going to be up here. So you actually will see Unsplash as one of the menu items. And so when you would click Unsplash, you would just search for what you're looking for. It's going to find videos or images that you can also use in helping put your projects together. So we have this a lot of stuff that's being, continue to be pushed in and continue to move out. But I will tell you guys this. Whatever you have your hands on right here, I like to say it like this. You can do anything your mind can imagine. You can create anything you want. There's a lot of features, but not a single feature in here is complicated. It's all easy. And I love to look at Midjourney for this specific reason. Because if you are not familiar with Midjourney, this is how you would have to use it if you didn't use it here. Number one, you have to open up and get a Discord account. Most people don't know anything about Discord unless you're a gamer, all right, or a developer. So you got to get a Discord account. A little bit crazy, big learning curve. Then you got to go to Midjourney and you got to create a subscription. Then you have to take that subscription and you have to come back to Discord and you have to link the subscription to your Discord account. Then once you get that done, you have to agree to all the terms and go through their little process of entering Discord's channel. Then you have to find out which of the newbie channels you want to start playing in. And when you do that, you then have to figure out inside of Discord how to use the commands. And then you have to know how to put the prompt onto the command. And then it's going to give you a picture inside of the chat channel inside of Discord. And the whole time that you're working in the Discord channel, so are 500 other people. And all of their stuff's coming in and it's pushing it up and pushing it down. And everybody gets to see what you're doing. It's all public. They're seeing your prompts. They're seeing your commands. They're seeing what you're building. All in that same chat channel. So not only is it more complicated, we don't let you get seen in all the channels. You don't get to see all the stuff being created, and we made it simple. You just even choose a portrait. It's all built for you, and you can go in and just drop in anything you want, and it makes unbelievably pretty pictures without all the complexity. So that's what we do inside of RUBI. We have obviously 4 patent pending applications that makes us different and special, but more than that, it's about simplicity and bringing the entire AI world to your fingertips.